Ready?
4:30.
All right. Good evening. My name is Erin Stevens. Welcome to the October 6th meeting of the City of Charleston Design Review Board. Members of the board are Ben Whitener, Lucas Boyd, Adriana Carson, Bill Eubanks, Stephanie Tillerson, and Ashley Jackrell. I guess these are not in order, but they all name tags. Members of city staff are David Meeks and Brad Thomas, DRB staff, and Patrick Carlson, city clerk. Adriana Carson is recused from agenda item number 5, 1109 Wapu Road. And then agenda items 2 and 3 have been deferred by the applicant, so we will not be reviewing those tonight. We did have 4 letters from the public in regards to agenda item number 6. The board has had access to read those. Most of them were surrounding use, flooding, tree protection, and traffic, which are not items within our purview, but we have all had access to them to read. And then there was another public comment for one of the deferred items that we'll review as that project comes back. Order of the meeting will be as follows: introduction of the project and context overview by staff, and then project presentation by the applicant. Right now you have a 10-minute time limit. If you would like to request additional time, please let us know before you start, and we can review that on a case-by-case basis. And all presenters must clearly state your name for the record. And during this 10 minutes is when anyone affiliated with the project, the designer, the owner, developers, consultants should speak during this 10 minutes. It'll be followed by board questions and then public comments. There'll be a 10-minute limit for public responses as well, during which the applicant does not get to respond. If you're from the public, please also clearly state your name for the record. This is followed by city staff recommendations, and then the applicant is given the opportunity to respond or clarify anything that was said by the public or city staff. And then we move into board discussion, motion, and a vote. Please turn off all mobile phones and other devices that make noise. And just want to remind everyone that any comments from the public are to be limited to site design and architecture only. This board does not have authority over zoning issues such as land use, building density, flooding, or traffic. All right, so the first item on our agenda tonight is 3309 Maybank Highway, requesting preliminary approval for a new 10,000 square foot, 1-story child daycare. Intro.
Yeah, thank you, Erin. I just have a few context slides. If I can direct your attention to the screen. The red thumbtack is the location of 3309 Maybank Highway. Closer view. It's going to be adjacent to a already developed site. It's going to be taking some of its cues for architecture from that site. This is looking into some of the existing. And we're going to turn over to the applicant. Step right up, please.
Good evening.
Let me know when you'd like to advance the slides.
Absolutely. Good evening. I'm Adam Ferreira. Do you need my address? Okay. I'm representing the owner developer, Mr. Ferragamo. We've already provided comment through the architect. I don't know, 12 or so item letter.
They did get to see those.
So we don't have any other information to provide beyond that. I believe that we're in a good place with everything we provided and don't have any additional information to provide, but wanted to answer any questions that you may have about the building itself. So, sorry, that's my answer. That's where we are.
Anyone else from your team speaking, or?
Did you?
I don't have anything to add. I'm Chris Donato with SiteCast. We was an engineer and landscape architect. If there's any questions, we'll be answering questions. And I'm the applicant. So.
All right, thank you. We don't mind brief presentations, don't worry. Okay, board questions.
And board, if you'd like me to go to a specific slide, let me know.
I have
Go ahead.
I got some, I know that we want to start with the building, but I got some drainage questions for the applicant.
Yes.
So I don't know if we can go to the site plan and show the detention area in the back of the building. So is that a wet pond?
Yes.
Okay, so it looked like we have fences, buffers, 3 wells, and I don't see the access to, maintain the pond in the future.
So we're working with the city on that. What you're not seeing though is that we're actually draining to another existing detention pond.
Okay,
And the applicant owns both parcels. So there's actually access right through here. With the shelf of this pond being right here is also part of the access. And we're working with the city now to see if we need to move this back a little bit. And they asked us for maybe 5 feet. So I think we just had TRC Thursday.
okay,
And so I think we're gonna move this back 5 feet and then they felt comfortable with that access. Because they'll have it on this side of this side. It's a fairly small pond.
no, I understand, but when I was looking at everything, I was like, how are they going to maintain the pond?
Yes.
And then the outfall structure, is you say that it's going to a pond next door
It is an
or,
existing pond that's for this development here.
okay,
And then we've modeled, our pond, of course, with their pond, and then all the way through to the ultimate outfall.
all right, thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
I have a question. Do the shed dormers on the east elevation allow natural light to come in, or are they photo dormers?
Those are faux dormers, those run into the attic. So those are not for natural light within the building.
Okay. And did you look at, I saw a comment, I wasn't here at the previous board meeting, but did you look at the windows, maybe making them more vertical on that front elevation, well, all around? I think I saw a comment about raising the doors to 8 feet.
I'm working off memory to that question, but I believe that the dormers that were there before
Not dormers, the windows,
of these
like the
windows here.
main windows, right?
I think the comment was raising them to 7 feet to align with the doors, was it? Lucas, I think that was your 8 feet, okay. And they
Is
did,
there a reason they couldn't?
they did respond to me, it had to do with cost, and I let them know.
Oh, it had to do with
Don't really-
cost. Okay.
I don't think it was just cost. I think it was related to trying to mirror the phase 1 as well.
Mirror phase 1. Looks like it's phase 1.
And just to reiterate, the applicants owns the whole parcel with all 4 buildings, so that's the purpose.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Bill.
You've got a ton of bollards along your parking spaces. Is there any reason that you didn't actually make those relate to the parking spaces themselves?
So those are McHugh bollards. McHugh is a manufacturer that does the crash rated bollards for daycares. And they've provided that design to us in order to, I guess, provide the necessary coverage and safety for the child care building. So it was a recommendation by them. I don't want to say it's deferred design in the sense, but it's based on what they provide. Spacing, I guess there's a certain spacing for each one of them to provide the crash rating that's necessary.
Bill, are you asking about the spacing? Like, why not have, okay.
Yeah, just why they didn't like relate to the parking spaces themselves. They
More centered within each parking space.
I think it's
Yeah.
about having a car go through them all together. It wasn't just about the head in, but a car with.
Any other questions? I have one, but, okay, on sheet A305 is what I wrote down. I don't know if you have it numbered. I had a quick question. Hopefully this is just an easy clarification, but that detail at the top, calls out a PVC fence. And I believe in your comments, you said all the PVC fences had been replaced with stained wood. And so I'm wondering if that is just a remnant detail that should go away, or is there also PVC fencing being used somewhere else on the project?
I believe that's a remnant detail.
I think it
We would
is.
need to,
I do have that as a stuff.
we would need to update
Okay,
that.
okay,
We can update that.
great. Any other questions?
Thank you.
You- Oh.
We get smarter every day.
All right.
That's awesome.
Is there, is there anyone from the public here to speak on this agenda item tonight? No? All right. Well, then we'll move to city staff recommendation.
Thank you, Erin. Some of the staff observations, the previous staff and board comments have been addressed since the last meeting. Staff supports this building design and the site plan. The front facade has improved with its added dormers and symmetry. The front buffer has had more evergreens added to the planting plan. Staff comment number 1, the applicants are showing the multi-use path along Maybank Highway at 10 feet wide per the county plan, but this was not adopted by the city, and we do recommend that the path be reduced to 8 feet, since there are quite a few trees in this area. Staff comment number 2, typically some civil details are provided at preliminary review. Bollards, signposts, multi-use path detail. Provide these at the next review. Some civil site related notes are on the floor plan sheet only, but should be on the site plan. Notes about fencing, signs, and bollards. Number 3, a note says to match the bollards and signpost to the neighboring site, such as the U-channel signpost. The neighboring site was not in DRB purview, and that they have some of the U-channel signpost over there. DRB does not permit the standard U-channel signpost. Handicap signs could be on a fence or a bollard if appropriate, but if on a post, the post must have a decorative round or square post, black to match the fencing or downspouts. Show the sign locations on the site plan. Staff comment number 4, white bollards are good since we do not permit yellow bollards, but staff recommends a reflective band at the top of the bollard. And also please provide a detail. Number 5, call out the various types of fencing on the site and landscape plan. PVC fence detail is still shown, although there is a note on the photo that there will be no more PVC fencing. Provide a wood fence detail as well, please. Number 6, there's a structure next to the playground with a roof. DRB would typically need to review and approve this. So we ask if you could please provide details before you go to final submittal for DRB us to take a look at. But we do recommend a preliminary approval with the conditions noted and final review by staff.
Anything that the applicant wants to clarify or respond to in staff's comments? Okay, we can move into board discussion and a motion.
I had a question I was gonna ask of staff, but since this wasn't, the phase 1 wasn't in our purview. Going back to the dormers, I'm curious if they are also non-functioning in phase 1.
That I don't know.
I can answer it. I don't know if I'm supposed to at this point.
Your discretion.
Yes, since phase 1 was not in our purview, I don't know if they were functioning or not.
Comments? Or your comment?
Board discussion.
Board discussion. Would you go to A301, David? Or page 7? Yeah.
All right, okay.
Page 7. Yeah, so the comment about the dormers, and I think this one shows it as just getting rid of them, in my opinion, because you look at this one, it's aligned with the window below, but then the rest of them, there's really no pattern for that anyway. So I would just get rid of the dormers, in my opinion.
Get rid of the dormers and raise the head height.
Raise the head height.
Take the money and put it into.
Yep. Yeah, these windows here, I think I agree with whoever made the comment at the last meeting. They should be aligned with, this top of this transom. I think the transom would help too. And you could see it, the phase 1 or whatever that wasn't in our purview, that's what they did. If you look at page 9, David.
Can't see page numbers, I'm sorry.
Page 9.
The one that has the aerial.
Got the aerial, A303.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I guess that's phase one, right? So you got a 7-foot door with, the higher transom. It's got more of a verticality on those windows. I think we need to do that on all the windows, and put a transom over the door like you have here, even on the secondary doors. What else to have? If you look at that main street elevation, the east elevation, I think you're kind of in between with that main entry gable. You're not aligning with and you can really tell it on the renderings, but you're not aligning the eave, the fascia of the eave. I think you either go one way or the other, like on page 9 again. If you look at the existing condition, how they raised, David, that's A303, and I'm talking about right here. So, yeah, well, here you go. See, so in this main entrance, now they've raised the ridge goes higher than the perpendicular gable. So you could either do it that way, or you could lower this building so that it aligns with the
I won't be able to lower it.
the eave. Can't lower it.
Because the rake on that gable is a lot shallower than the eave depth of the main gable.
So I would raise it. If you can tell in the renderings,
But it's enough different.
it's really, I think so. You think that's enough difference?
I think so.
Okay, I disagree. It's too far, and I mean, it's one or the other, in my opinion. You either connect it to the fascia or raise it up to the ridge. It's just and I'm not a fan of brackets that are just added like that, but I understand why they're there. You're
If they,
complementary to the existing building.
if they raise it up, they'll just have more room for signage, I guess. They
Raise it up to the ridge.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fine if you raised it up to the ridge. You'll never be able to re-roof in that area. It's too tight. I think that's my only
The previous
comment.
previous submission had the 3 expressions, right? The
Three gables, yeah.
So it has developed nicely, hasn't it?
I wish, just a comment for next time, I wish we could see previous and then current. I think that would be
Well, next time will be final review by staff.
well, next time that architect comes before us. If ever, I don't know. It helps when you can see what was submitted, especially if you weren't in the previous meeting.
The above the doors, I gotta ask a quick question. Are those wall packs above the doors? They're shown in the elevations too. If you want to go to 301, David.
You mean P-Tex?
Yeah, those are wall packs.
Yeah. Lights.
Yes.
It's probably just a drawing error, but on the opaque door, you might want to center. Just on that far door. But everything else I agree with Ben.
Thank you. Anybody else? Are we ready for a motion?
Ben,
All right, so make a motion for preliminary approval with staff comments 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And board comments to remove the shed dormers. To have the windows more vertical expression, so transom above the windows and doors
Match that of entry storefront.
to match the existing store. That's what I was wondering, is that 8 feet or 9 feet? Is that 9 feet?
9-2, so yeah.
Yeah, so you guys see applicant, you understand what, yeah. And main entry gable ridge, align with cross ridge or
Line with main ridge.
align with main ridge? I'm good with that.
Do you want to add the note about the light above the doors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, a line, center of the wall pack above the door. And any landscape comments we need to make? You, all right, that's it.
So we have a motion for preliminary approval with staff comments 1 through 6 and board comments to remove shed dormers to provide more vertical expression to the windows and doors to match the storefront.
I would say on that comment to add glazing
Okay,
to match the storefront.
more vertical expression to windows and doors to add glazing to match storefront.
Yeah.
Okay. And then align the main entry gable with the ridge, with the main ridge.
Entry ridge with main ridge. Main building ridge.
Okay. Okay,
That makes sense?
yeah, is that different than what I
No,
said?
you're good.
Okay.
Old man reinterpretation.
And to center wall packs above the doors. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Oh yeah, this came out while you were talking. Okay. Any further discussion? No, okay. We'll call a vote. Lucas,
Yes, I'm good.
Ashley, yes. Bill
Yes.
and Stephanie.
Yes.
Motion carries. All right.
Yeah.
We just get to scroll to the next page.
I know. You get to scroll through a lot. Oh, he took out 2 and 3. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So as we mentioned before, items 2 and 3 were deferred by the applicant. So we will be moving on to agenda item number 4. 1702 to 1704 Hollydale Court at Maybank Highway, requesting preliminary approval for 2 new gray shell buildings for future retail and restaurant. Introduction.
And then just a few context slides. You can see the red thumbtack is the location of this project. 1702 and 1704 Hollydale Court. Closer view. So it's gonna, the 2 buildings will be right at this location. This is looking at the site. Project will be right here. And the applicant can step right up. Thank you.
Right.
Yes.
Will you need more than 10 minutes?
We do. We got, since we have 2 buildings.
Okay.
We have 5 extra minutes.
Sure. Well, 15 minutes. Great.
Hello, my name is Tim Cook. I'm the project engineer for the project, the overall project and the portion of the project in front of you today. So David, could you go to the enlarge the site plans?
See this one?
There you go. Okay. So based on comments from DRB on our previous submittal, we've done some modifications to the site. We've made the parking spaces 18 feet as requested. And we've also replaced the curb and gutter at the termination of the parking, installed the ribbon curb and added the curb stops just to give a little bit more generous sidewalk width, and we've increased with the sidewalk and articulated a little bit. We've changed some of the hardscape and the on the front of the building and the parking lot side of the building and interior to the common area in between the 2 buildings. I've added some downspouts in that area, and our previous submittal had just the kind of basic conceptual landscape plan. So we have David Tomlin that can present the landscape portion, and Lossy Knight, go over the modifications that were made for the buildings. We're currently working on the DOT submittal, so elevation wise of the finished floor may change a little bit based on that DOT work. So we're hopefully addressed all the site related comments that they had. Turn it over to David Tomlin now.
Thanks, David. Good evening, David Tomlin, Tomlin Company Landscape Architect. As Tim mentioned, since the last submittal, we have fast and furiously joined the team and started developing the landscape plan that we've, first pass we're showing you tonight is landscape plan. Its palette basically is a palette that we've been developing for years, working on Johns Island, kind of commercial corridor, which is a mix of native, drought tolerant, deer tolerant, and then where we're not able to use native species that are tough, that accent the building, screen, our transformer, and then most importantly, where we've got our 23-inch live oak in the back corner and that 27.5-inch water oak right there. Create a kind of a native little landscape there that's to keep those trees healthy. Out of our peer view, we've got a couple of other big live oaks and things. So this whole palette is really going to drip through this and work with our bioswales and littoral shelf plantings. I think it's going to create a landscape that you feel as you pass other successful commercial projects in Johns Island. So we're excited about that. And I think that's about it. I'll keep it quick.
Good evening, I'm Lossie Knight with LFA Architects. I'll hit the architectural comments. So since last time we had a chance to meet with the board, we had a chance to meet with David Meeks and BD Rutherford, which was very helpful. And so I want to go over some of the revisions since then. I'll be back up one. That was David's landscape plan with the colored plan, which was kind of nice. If we can, let's jump to page 24, David, we can do that.
Thank you for numbering your sheets.
The first time ever. 2 times the charm. So you guys might remember, so we have 2 gray shell retail buildings. This is building 1 and building 2. We have the previous on the top, proposed on the bottom. So Maybank Highway would be in the background, our parking and shopping experiences in the foreground here. Looking at the revisions, as far as the last thing we were asked to do was to sort of find a simplified architectural palette, kind of simplifying the language a little bit. Maybe there was possibly too much going on last time was the comments we received. So looking at the proposed, we've wanted to kind of simplify some of the roof colors. Previously, we had standing seam galvalume, we had a slate black, and we had some parapet roof lines. So we've kind of unified all those. So every gable just has the slate black roof features. On building 1, we've simplified the canopies on the front and the back on Maybank side to be the same simple box canopies. We had a trellis before on building 1, and we thought we could come up with something that's a little more functional. So we have a simple shed roof line with these timber columns. It actually matches the same shed that's on building 2, finding some consistency in the architecture there. And then moving over to building number 2, we sort of reworked this central brick element here. It was sort of longer and horizontal and had some features and some blind panels. So we've sort of got some simple punched openings that more relates to building number 1. We have actually added some transoms where we had blind panels before. And then overall, the signage had just been simplified and kind of unified into a consistent language. Before it was sort of dancing all over the place. We really like the open gable form of our end cap unit. So this is Hollydale, kind of the anchor tenant here. So we wanted to kind of keep that element moving forward. If we can go to the very next page, please. And then we've done a lot of work working with landscape architect and civil on the central courtyard area. There was a suggestion before about adding a little bit of a privacy screen between Maybank Highway, which would be in the upper part of the page, and then the courtyard. So we've added this sort of tabby stucco knee wall with cottonwood brick caps on the top, and just sort of detailed some of this a little bit further than what it was before. If we can go to the next page, please. This is our anchor building. So we've got, this is Hollydale here, and we have Maybank Highway here. We have changed this element here. It was a canopy before. We've sort of wanted this consistent shed to show up through the architecture. So that's one thing that's changed on this facade here. Next slide, please. Just a close up, we have our courtyard on the right. This was the previous trellis, which has now been revised to this timber element here, which relates to building number 1 as well. Next slide. And then we have this sort of simplified brick, that we feature here for the center tenants, and then our blue lamb timber and like plate conditions here. And if we can finish, David, on, let's go to page 55 if we can. Yeah, let's see, there you go. So wanted to show, we spent a fair amount of time working through building sections and studying our forms and really looking at enlarged wall sections. And one of the comments we received last time was relative to the roof drainage and making sure that was working out properly. So wanted to kind of clarify that it is working. You can see some of the clearances. Everything's tearing down to the central loop roof, which is single ply. We have internal drains, overflow scuppers. So all the clearances that we need to make the roof drainage work out. So that concludes our presentation. If there's any questions, happy to answer it.
Thank you. Didn't need the extra time after all, so I appreciate that.
Trying to run.
Well done.
Super quick.
Made it in about 8, so good job. All right, are there questions from the board for the applicant?
I got some questions. So I understand that you going through SCDOT for the multipath at the front of Maybank. And I noticed that you encroaching on the SCDOT with the sidewalk.
Mhm.
And I know they don't like that too much. You have to be all in or all out. So, I know that they probably will mention that. So I just didn't know you have room to move that sidewalk behind the driveway.
We need to dedicate some right of way to them. To
Okay.
accomplish the decel lane. So we're working through some of the utility relocation questions, whether they have to be relocated or not. So we have not submitted to DOT yet.
Okay.
So that I'm submitting it with curb and gutter. I don't know if they're gonna like that,
Okay.
because typically in that area, they want roadside swales. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they come back with. Because
Right.
drainage there is not very good.
Right. Oh,
It's
yeah.
flat.
I'm very familiar with that. And
So what we have, what I've got designed, is a huge enhancement to what currently is there.
okay.
And so hopefully I can talk them into the curb and gutter. But
Okay.
I like David's comment about the reduction of the 10-foot sidewalk to 8 feet. If that would apply here, that would be great.
And I know now SCDOT allow you to do preliminary drawings to them. You don't have to do the full set and then they will give you feedbacks.
They're changing their submittal
Got it.
process. 'Cause I just had one where I wanted comments in Mount Pleasant and they nixed it. They said,
Full review.
yeah, full review.
Got
And it was 2 opposing left turn lanes and 2 deceleration lanes, right in, right out. So it was pretty complicated. And they didn't give any comments back. So
All right, well, that's good that you coordinated with them. And then the other thing is, I saw in the parking lot, a lot of the grease traps for,
Right.
so I think there were like 4 or 5, I can't remember
Correct,
how many.
correct.
So you are going to have restaurants on there?
correct.
So my understanding now is your Charleston water system on that one, they don't allow
For sewer.
for sewer,
Right.
right? Or the
Same-
grease
same
trap,
things.
you
Yeah.
know, they over, look at that.
Right.
My understanding is they don't allow grease traps on the parking spaces any longer.
Okay.
That's a new requirement.
Yeah.
So they're gonna make you move these grease traps to landscape, so that
Okay.
will affect the landscape areas too. So I just want to just put it out there.
Sure.
Another option is to stripe the parking, so you might lose some spaces, so just give you some recommendations.
Right now, we got, for these 2 buildings, a requirement of 180 spaces, and we got 194. So I
Okay,
got-
so you got
so I
some
got some
for
flexibility.
strike them out or
Right.
islands on it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good. All right,
Oh, wait, Island.
Yeah.
Uh,
that's pretty much, and I think like the grading plan, there were a lot of text on top of each other, so it was hard for me to understand the proposed detention and the existing detention. But I think after I spent some time, I figured it out.
On the existing pond.
Yes, like, because you're trying to
It's gonna,
expand
it'll
it.
probably increase we
Okay,
and then we have 2 additional ponds, so it's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah.
Stormwater plan.
okay,
And part of it's gonna be, Hollydale is currently maintained by city.
Uh-huh.
So we've got a road improvement portion of the project and the stormwater portion of the project and then site related portions are separate.
So that's,
The tension is pretty large.
are you in the SBA on that one or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very complicated.
Any other questions from the board for the applicant?
I have, oh, go ahead.
I got an easier one.
I got it.
The typical roof drain, that drain, there's no exterior expression of that. It drains into the wall cavity. Is that correct?
If we go to the roof plan, you'll see we've got a.
So it's got a scupper.
And then we have overflow scuppers as well.
So there'll be a.
But the gables have gutters that catch everything, and then those are piped. Yeah, I think
So it, in a section A303 or something, it says internal roof drain piping direct to wall cavity. So it's not penetrating. We don't see anything on that wall.
oh, I'm sorry, I understand. Yeah, it does not come to the wall. It goes down to the wall cavity. That's right.
That's it.
Yeah, your overflow will come through the wall.
But it's going on the sides. It's-
Yeah.
it's tough.
So Lawson, just one question. And I applaud the minor changes. They made a big impact, I believe. Dealing with board and batten and the horizontal siding, I know we're wanting some, differences and architectural expression being a little different between the two buildings. I was just curious, did you look at maybe one building having the board and batten and one building having the horizontal siding? And if you were to go that way to have more consistency between, building one, building two kind of thing, one's board and batten, one's horizontal siding, would that cause you any concern?
I don't think there'd be any heartburn there. I think from a distance, with all the siding being white, we kind of balance that with the palette of the cottonwood brick. I think it's gonna kind of read in those bigger masses, but far as texture as you approach the building. We looked at just breaking it up with varying the board bat and the siding within each building, but I could see it working too if it was all board batten on building 2 and all siding on building 1, for instance. I don't think that'd be an issue.
Good, thank you.
We disagree, man.
I love this.
That's the great thing about architecture.
Any other board questions for the applicant? Okay, we did not receive any written public comments on that, but does anyone hear from the public to speak on this item? Okay, move to city staff recommendations.
Thank you. Excuse me. The applicants met with staff since the last meeting to discuss the changes that were suggested by the board and staff at the last meeting. We feel all the staff and board comments have been met since the last meeting and staff supports the changes made. The materials were simplified, the colors and the roofs have been simplified, and where the roof forms intersect appear to be working well. We do recommend preliminary approval with final review by staff.
Anything the applicant would like to respond to or clarify? Great, we can move into board discussion and motion.
My only comment with the side. I just feel like it simplifies and it gives more architectural clarity to each individual building. But I would not make it a motion, you have to do it this way or that way.
Leave that up to the other.
Absolutely, 100%.
I like the buildings, they look nice. I'm not an architect, but.
They do. I mean, they're simple but elegant and they work together well.
Sounds like you're ready for a motion.
And no landscape comments, all right.
Well,
let's make-
no,
go
hold
ahead.
on.
That's a
This
landscape
is a good one,
comments.
though. It's an easy one. When you make the motion, give them the flexibility to reduce the multi-use path to 8 feet from 10.
Okay, got you. Yes, let's make a motion for preliminary approval.
Okay.
Let's give them by board comment the flexibility to reduce the multi-use path from 10 feet to 8 feet. Is that right?
Okay, so we have a motion for preliminary approval with board comment to allow the design team the flexibility to reduce the multi-use path down to 8 feet. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any further discussion from the board? Okay, I'll call roll. Lucas,
Yes, in favor.
Adriana, Ashley,
Yes.
You seconded, Stephanie?
Yes.
And I'm also in favor. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I forgot to vote on the first one, didn't I?
You were.
I meant to, but I think I forgot to
I
say that out.
recorded
loud. Okay. I just realized when I said I'm also in favor, I was like, I did it.
According to me.
Yeah, I could tell there was a pause. That's my bad. I'm sorry.
It's also okay if you don't hear.
You gotta recuse yourself.
It wouldn't have changed anything.
Exactly.
That's why I did that.
Sorry.
What?
I know. Well, okay. But I turned it down. Okay. So, let's see. The next item on our agenda is 1109 Wapu Road, requesting conceptual approval for a new one-story retail building.
Thank you. Let me direct your attention to the screen, show the location of this project, the red thumbtack. Closer view. So this is the existing site, the existing building is back here, and they're gonna be relocated to over here. This monument sign will be relocated as well. And the existing trees are gonna be maintained here. So the building will sit right up in here. That's the existing building. And I'll turn it over to the applicant.
Do you need more than 10 minutes today? You good? Okay. Great.
Can't hear me. Bit of a respiratory thing. It's trying to take my voice away, but I'll do my best. As y'all know, site at the corner of Wapu and Amy Elsley, gonna give y'all just a little bit of site context to kind of see, show what drove some of these site revisions. The site is currently at a grade of 22 to 20 feet, 20 feet being closer to the front of Wapu. That grade drops down to 15 at the intersection of Amy and Elsley. Along Amy and Elsley here, you got a combination of fiber optic, water, gas, telephone, utilities run down that. So one of the comments that was made last time was to bring the building up and slide it closer to the intersection of Elsley. We've done that. In doing so, all of our stormwater has moved underground due to the grade that I mentioned earlier, the maintenance shelves that would be required, and then the grading that would be necessary to put any stormwater up there. So that has been revised. I know we were supposed to add LID. Fortunately, our stormwater has gone underground. We've added a pocket park to the corner here of Amy and Elsley. Last time we had been requested to make a connection down to Amy and Elsley here from this door. We looked at the feasibility of that. Due to the depth of cover needed for those utilities and the amount of steps or ramps it would need to make an ADA, it wasn't feasible. We decided to go the other route and bring an ADA ramp down to that pocket park to make a second connection there. That is ADA. Really make that work. Another minor site revision. The sidewalk here, as you see, is a little bit different than last time. We've had to bring that down along Amy Elsley and actually reduce it down to 4 feet in this section here to keep the grading and the cover for those utilities consistent. The other thing, we've added additional landscaping along the front here, behind the pocket park, up underneath the grand trees. And we planted that slope in between Amy Elsley and the post fence to add additional landscaping along Amy Elsley. Screened the dumpster locations, moved them forward to hide them from view from Amy Elsley as well as Wapu. And then also moved the propane and fuel back, to give a little bit more visual separation there.
We just realized you did not state your name for the record, so.
All for it.
You don't have to start it. I just got the signal from the note takers. Sorry, I should have called that.
No, not a problem. Keep it in there. That's a perfect time. I'm about to turn it over.
All right, good evening, Glossy Night with LFK Architects. David, if we could start on page 16. Please. All right, just wanted to, I know we haven't been here since June, just wanted to remind everybody a little bit of a context. We have a sort of a little bit of warehouse light industrial. We're back up to the rear alley of Ashley, the retail center here, and then we have Roots and Shoots Nursery across the street. So this is the new positioning of the building. It's further engaged at Amy Isley and Watson. Next slide, please. And then this is really just showing three-dimensionally Nick's presentation, but you can see the fuel propane has been moved back, the dumpster has been moved up, and everything is screened, and we have a sort of new landscape plan here along Amy Isley. And so it's dropping from here to here about 5 feet. We have a section to this area here, and you'll kind of see that the view perspectives are such that you actually can't see these doors because of the change in topography and the 10-foot fence in the landscape. Next slide, please. Just wanted to show a quick diagram of the previous. He mentioned the detention going underground. These are the trees that we've saved. The building's now engaged in our pocket park up in this area here. So if we can flip to the pocket park, which is on page 41, we have an enlargement of that. Yeah. I'm sorry, one or two back up. So just a quick enlargement of this. We have a brick knee wall. This is sort of a radius wall that all the landscape meets. This is that new sidewalk and ADA ramp that comes down from the building. So we have Wapu Road and Amy Isley, and then our benches are engaging in this sort of brick landscape knee wall here. All right, if we can go to go back to page 19, if we can, somewhere around there. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's good. Yeah. I just wanted to show the previous proposed bird's eye, looking from Wapu. We actually have the trees turned off here. The building's going to be fairly screened, so we want to kind of show you with and without. You can start to see how we study the new roof massing here. If you may recall, this is the retail and sales office up front, and then shop and repair all happens in the back. Next slide. Again, kind of the intersection of Amy Isley and Walker Road. We're keeping the trees. This is the new pocket park. It's sort of tough to see the building, so we wanted to show you it with and without the trees. If we can go to the next slide. There we go. So now you can see the trees are turned off. We have the previous kind of parapet, almost flat roof design. We're starting to introduce this new kind of low country gable vernacular roof form with some nice big overhangs, some 4-foot overhangs and some steel bracketing. And then this is our pocket park up front here. Next slide, please. And then finally getting to previous and proposed, this is the parking lot side. So we have service beyond this fence here. Again, we still have some crepe myrtles and some trees turned off here, but you start to see a little bit of the warmer soffit and some of these elements in the new design. We've gotten rid of the metal panel, the green panel, and replaced it with a horizontal V groove, and we sort of consolidated this signboard here. Finally, if we can go to page 39, please. Yeah, just wanted to wrap up and share this detail here to kind of give that perspective of along Amy Isley Drive. We have that change in grade. We have our building up here. We have this 10-foot fence. There's a bunch of landscape here that you're not seeing, but if you look at the perspective lines, we're not gonna actually see those overhead doors in that area. So if there's any questions, happy to answer those.
Thank you. Board questions?
What's on the slope there where you've got the steep slope from the sidewalk going up? Is that planted or is it just lawn?
Planted. Yes, sir.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
It's a massive sweetgrass along there.
Perfect, okay.
Flossie, the steel brackets on the main building, I assume they're purely decorational, right?
It's to be determined. We've got these 4-foot overhangs, so we think they actually could be functional. Could we go to slide 22? Would that be okay?
It's a pre-engineered building, right?
Yeah.
Well, portions of it are, and so we're going to have metal infill studs and sheathing. It's not going to be just a pre-engineered building. So, but we sort of like the way that these wide flange column details start to kind of relate to some of the architecture in the back, where the frame does start to kind of reveal itself again. So there's a little bit of relationship there, but we'll see if they're going to be functional. I don't.
Okay, well, that adds to the next question.
Okay.
On that elevation, that where you are right now, that the brackets aren't equidistant because of the sign.
Right.
is there an issue with that sign going lower so that those brackets, if they were functional, could be equidistant?
That's a great point, yeah. Yeah, we should do that.
I'm gonna bring you into the. I mean, I've only been doing this a long time too. Anyway, that's my only question.
Any other board questions?
I have one. I think back in June, we talked about the existing sidewalk along Wapo. I don't think we made it part of a motion, but I think I suggested that maybe y'all replace that sidewalk. I love what you're doing at the corner and love the direction that the landscape plan is going, but I'd still encourage y'all to replace that sidewalk. It's kind of in bad shape, and with everything else you're doing, it'd be great for that to be new and nice and not broken.
Any other questions from the board?
Yeah,
Okay.
I forget from last time, I remember you specifically discussed why the front part it bumps up, but it bumps up very slightly. You had explained that before, and it's still bumping up, but still quite modestly. Was there a reason beyond just an added architectural expression for that front retail-y type space?
Yeah, good question. Functionally inside, there's no second level.
Okay.
So it's really just kind of breaking up the mass and we've got one use on the front versus what's in the back.
Great. Any other questions? All right, we did not receive any public comments on this, but is anyone here from the public wanting to speak on this agenda item? All right, staff recommendations.
Thank you. All the previous board and staff comments from the last meeting have been addressed. The building has improved with the change from a flat roof to a pitch roof. The neon green was removed from the building, it was used only on the facade sign. The building location was shifted to better address the street intersection. And with the added pocket park at the intersection and among the existing trees, this will be a nice addition and improve the site plan. It has a brick knee wall. The pocket park has a brick knee wall and benches for public use. Staff supports the improved landscape plan as well as the materials board depicted on page 37 and the two fence styles depicted. Staff comment number 1, all traffic signs on the site should be decorative post and not the standard U-channel post. I think there was a detail still showing the U-channel post. And the bollards were changed from safety yellow to gray, as the yellow is not permitted in DRB areas, but staff recommends a reflective band at the top. We do recommend a preliminary approval with final review by staff.
Anything the applicant wishes to clarify? All right, move into board discussion and a motion.
Like I said, the only comment I have on the architecture, I think the gable roof's a large improvement. I live about a mile from here, so definitely it's a large improvement. I would suggest if you want to keep that Sunbelt rental sign where it is on that side of the main entry, to remove the steel brackets. Or if you want the steel brackets to remain, make them equidistant like you have on the opposite side. I think that would.
You can decide to put it down here.
Right, yeah, just lower it. Honestly, lowering it's probably gonna be more visible anyway. And make sure this Sunbelt Rentals keeps their site clean.
Is that no purview?
No.
It's fenced.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Does anybody have any landscape comments? We good?
No,
Sure.
it's great.
Motion for preliminary approval, staff comments 1 and 2, board comment, lower sign, equidistant brackets, or leave sign, remove brackets.
Anything? Okay. Sidewalk.
Well, I don't want that to be part of the motion.
Great. So we have a motion for preliminary approval with staff comment 1 and 2, and with the board comment to either lower the sign to allow for equal spacing of the brackets or remove the brackets. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? I'll call you Lucas,
Yes, in favor.
Ashley,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
I am also in favor. Motion carries. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is 2275 Henry Tecklenburg Drive.
Madam Chair.
What's the name? Oh, Adriana, yeah,
Yeah.
she's right there.
Here she comes.
Requesting conceptual approval for a youth learning center, which includes a learning center building, a maintenance building, and a 9-hole youth golf course. Interactive.
Thank you. Just a few context slides to show the location. You can see the red thumbtack. About at 2275 Henry Chapman Bird. Closer view. And be next to the Sharon Hope project that we saw recently. And this is looking into the sign. It's quite wooded at the. And looking down the street a little bit, this is the Sharing Hope, which is going to be next door. And then looking back the other way, now the site's on your left. And I'll turn it over to the applicant. Step right up.
Y'all need more than 10 minutes? Okay, great.
My name is David Burke with LS3P. This is a great project. I'm super excited about this. It's a great opportunity for this part of town. We're surrounded by some really cool buildings, Sharing Creek building, the building across the street, which the Alzheimer's facility. See if you can go 5 pages into the rendered site plan. Next one, there we go. All right, yeah, that Alzheimer's facility is right there. Sharing Hope is right there. Our building is, we're trying to locate it up close to the street, obviously to use as much of the rear property for the golf course as we possibly could. Keeping a large buffer at the very front of the building. We'll have the putting green here and event lawn there, and this is the drainage pond. The back of the site is where the wetlands are anyway. So trying to keep our impact to the street fairly small, but obviously put the building as close to the street as possible. Go fast forward, you kind of already went through the adjacent sites. And we'll jump to the building plan, the next one. Yeah, parking to the left.
Oh, sorry.
Good. So yeah, all parking is here. There is a maintenance building as well as the main building. And then Evan's going to go through more detail the floor plan.
Evening, I'm Evan McGrath with L3P. You can go to the next slide. Yeah, next one. Yep. So this is the main learning facility building. It features 2 floors. The bottom floor you're going to see all the program is going to be for the youth development, and then the top floor is going to be an admin floor. So you can see on this first floor we have indoor putting greens, golf simulators. On this wing down here in the south that's closest to Henry Tecklenburg, we have the classroom wing with restrooms and reception and just some storage, and then also a nutrition center, which is going to be more like a catering kitchen. And then up on the second floor that's above this classroom wing, we have the just offices, boardrooms, individual offices, open offices, and a break room. And then we've turned out this floor plan about 20 degrees, I believe, just to open up views to the golf course, for the classrooms and for the purpose of this conference room here. You can go to the next one. It's just a brief plan. You can keep going. Yeah, and then this, so this south facade elevation is what you're going to be seeing from Henry Tecklenburg Drive. So we've tried to feature a good amount of glass that looks out from the classroom and from those 3 office spaces up on the second floor. We're also incorporating that the second story glass in that in the break room. And we're putting in these metal panels. They're meant to be almost like spandrel panels, but yeah, just to kind of add some playfulness and some color to the building. You get that slide. Yeah, and you can see, this is one of we previously had a discussion with David Meeks, and one of the comments was just this facade here, it faces out towards Henry Tuckenberg, but it's just on the back side of the golf simulator, so there was really no opportunity to put any windows or anything like that. So we've put some wall graphics on this facade to spice it up and add some character to it. And then just on this back area and this back porch, this is going to be a terraced area for an outdoor classroom. You kind of think a clubhouse with rocking chairs. We've brought in some wood to soften the material palette. You can go to the next slide. Yeah, and this is the maintenance building. It's off on the north end of the parking lot, in between the golf course and the parking lot. We're going to be screening it with some planting. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah, and this is just a bird's eye view looking from the southwest. Yeah, you can see how that graphic, it's interacting with the parking lot and where people are going to be coming in from the parking lot. And then you can see the buffer that's going to remain in between Henry Tuckenberg and this side of the building, which features the classroom and the offices. And then you can get to the next slide. Yeah, and then this is just the outdoor event lawn area, which is going to have those terraced areas for kids to sit and parents to sit and rocking chairs. Next slide. Yeah, and so here in these 3 slides, in this first slide, you can see the view looking, if you're pulling in from Henry Tuckenberg. You can see the graphic wall, all the kind of the native planting and landscaping. This is going to be your view. If you're on Henry Tuckenberg looking west, you're going to see that putting green. You're going to see this, you're going to kind of see a little bit of that back event space with the porches. And this is looking, if you're standing in front of the building along the sidewalk there, you can see the color, the metal panels and the standing seam metal siding, and you can kind of just see all the window, the glazing that's featured on that facade. Next slide. Yeah, this is just some more view of the property of looking through the parking lot, and kind of how we're going to be screening the maintenance facility or the maintenance shed. And then this is just a view on the porch looking at this golf course.
Thank you. Board questions for the applicant?
I had a couple of questions. That green, I guess the spandrel green, is that that's the actual color you're proposing, that sort of neon green? Just curious where that color came from.
It's significant to the client.
Oh, got you. So it's like in part of their logo or something?
Yeah, we can't reveal that right now, but we will.
The color is significant to the client. Okay. Got it. The fence, is it intended to be a split rail wood fence at the Henry Tecklenburg? Is that?
That's John
Yeah,
Winter, Thompson Hutton. Yes, it is intended to be, more of a rustic feel, kind of playing off of the vibe and the energy of the golf course. Having just some like the soft barrier there to keep, not to screen it, but just to keep, where the putting green is, and there could be a little playground. Just having some type of barrier there just to keep kids off of the road, in addition to the buffer. So that's kind of the aesthetic we're going for.
Other questions?
What the color of the building is black or gray, dark gray?
Its intention is to be a Charleston green.
Okay.
I said Charleston green with a neon
Yeah.
green.
Other questions? Bill?
The existing vegetation on the site, are those trees predominantly pine or a mix?
It's a mix. So the intent is to down about the putting green side, go in there, kind of clean up the understory, select clear coming down, and then as you get closer to the building, start to kind of open up, views of the building, and then at the entrance we'll open up a little bit more. But we're really committed to try and preserve some type of aesthetic there with the existing vegetation.
The hyphen is gray, like in the elevation drawings, or white, like in the render?
Yeah, so the hyphen, it's probably, we're intending on it to be more of a white. I know it's in the elevations, it's showing a gray. My intent would, especially on the intro facade, is it just kind of blend in with it doesn't want to be dominant in that elevation. Something.
So would you say that would be white or gray?
White.
He says it. Oh, like the renderings?
Yeah.
Other questions, Lucas? Okay, I have a question about the, can you flip to the site plan real quick? And you brought it up, but I wanted a little bit of clarification on it. Yeah, that's fine. So you have that playground called out, right there. And then I know it doesn't show up in any of the renderings or the other plans. And just because it's so front and center and kind of really visible, I was curious if it's going to be a playground or not sure yet. Because it obviously isn't consistent throughout the drawing set.
No, that's a good point. And playgrounds come in a lot of different shapes.
Yeah.
Grass.
That it is, at this point, they're committed to having some type of a playground play feature there. This is an after-school program. So, as things develop, we will, we will take that into consideration and make sure that it's not just, it's something that complements the building and the feel and the colors and everything. So, to answer your question, yes, the playground's going there, but we have not gotten as far to determine like what that is.
And so we don't know if it's gonna be fenced or anything, like safety fencing for kids and all of that comes along with playgrounds a lot.
Yeah, I don't, well, we need to study it further. I would hope that there wouldn't be additional fencing. But
Yeah, and we've got you can see on the rendering, if you go forward a couple slides, the rendering looking from where you see the putting green there, putting green, if you get one more rendering, you can see on that backside. Yeah, that rendering, you can see on the backside where we're putting in some steps seating for parents.
Right.
That would be
Yeah, so the playground's kind of right where your cursor is there. Yeah.
I'll tell you the programming. The location of that playground there's been a lot of thought with it and just how it fits in with the programming of, the after, what they'll be doing here at this facility.
Okay.
So, we've got a lot of different spots, but that works best for them.
I just say like bottom left rendering, it's gonna be right there between the building and the street. So it's what you're gonna see first. So,
the safest location to stay away from golf.
okay, but maybe not cars.
Or driving right into
Bicycles.
it.
So anyway, just, it's gonna, if it's staying there, it's gonna be an important design feature that we'll want to see more detail on.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, we did receive 4 written comments on this project, primarily around land use, flooding, traffic, and tree removal, which are not under our purview. So I know the board has reviewed those. But is there anyone here from the public tonight who wanted to speak on this project? Okay, great. Staff recommendation?
Thank you. Staff saw this project a while back at sketch plan Wednesday meeting with TRC, but we had a pre-submittal meeting with the applicant to discuss the architecture. But staff does support the height, scale, and mass of the proposed buildings and architectural direction. The landscape plan looks nice. Staff appreciates the evergreens proposed between the street and the parking lot. So because of this, the existing trees to be preserved, staff will not be asking for a screen wall at the parking lot. Staff comment number one, the applicants are proposing to keep some of the existing trees and vegetation along Henry Tettlenberg. We encourage this and hope that it'll be a reality. We encourage keeping as much of the existing vegetation as possible along the street. It appears even more existing trees could be saved between the golf course fairways, which is encouraged to show more saved trees than currently shown. Staff comment number two, there's a fence shown on parallel to Henry Tettlenberg, but needs to be labeled and a detail provided. The fence style shown in the rendering would be supported by staff. I was just thinking of when they were talking, maybe this is an added staff comment, but if it does remain this fence style, Bill and Aaron, what would you think about if it, the wire mesh fencing that kind of disappears to keep golf balls from going out beyond the fence? That's just a suggestion. But we do recommend conceptual approval with the conditions noted with preliminary review by the board.
What's the wire mesh fencing that you're talking
Oh,
like a tall?
yeah,
A tall.
no, just
I like top golf height.
Yeah, you might like
They're kids, hopefully.
just
they-
attached to
on the back side of the split rail
Yeah.
fence.
Yeah, we can,
with the wire.
20 foot high.
we can discuss that during board discussion. Anything applicant wants to respond to or clarify? Okay, great. We'll move into board discussion. I had one more question that I meant to ask and forgot. For the tree removal, I noted on the plans, it listed like variances. Where are y'all in that process? Just curious. Have you been approved
We've gone to be there with approval for the trees.
as currently shown in
As
this drawing
currently shown.
set? It's already been approved. Okay, thank you. Board discussion?
Nice problem.
We already asked them.
Yeah, they didn't. You're doubting my
No,
skill
I
today.
just couldn't remember.
You're missing everything.
I'm sorry.
Like the color.
You like the color?
I don't mind the pops and neon.
Jeez, man.
I don't think they look neon to me. They're more like.
I was
bright
gonna hold
grass
my
green.
opinion until the next phase, but
Bright grass, green,
Convince me.
not like a neon.
Yeah,
I don't mind it, it's just like so dark building.
that's why I like it. It seems like it blends in better.
I like
Yeah.
the mural. I think the mural's cool.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just not sure about the neon green spandrel panels. That kind of,
But they look good there. I
Mhm.
know.
that looks good. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
On that point, I think that was a really thoughtful approach to something where, as a board, we typically like to see fenestration. And not only was it a solution that worked for that facade, but something that speaks to the character of West Ashley, that we have murals throughout that neighborhood. And kudos to the team for being very thoughtful in that approach.
My comments are strictly comments. I think height, scale, and mass, absolutely conceptual approval. But I think as developing it, if you look at, go to maybe the next, or the one before that, David. What page are you on? Yeah, that one right here. So looking at like the Tecklenburg elevation, I feel like the back rendering that you show of the outdoor event lawn is extremely well thought out and looks like an awesome place to be. So I would just, in my opinion, that same architectural rigor to that Tecklenburg facade. I feel like, things, maybe even the rhythm of the windows, you got this kind of AA and this BBC. the spacing between the windows. I know you might not perceive it, but, just look at that and solid to void. I thought maybe it might help if that higher window, if you push down and had more metal panel, it's kind of like super tight to the top, but I mean, I'm just giving minor criticisms. I think the high scale mass is awesome. I think the siding is great. I like coming in from the side. That the rendering in the back, I guess is page 164 is spectacular. I think that's a great space with the terraces going down and the porches. You don't have to say main entry is clear there where the main entrance is. Like I said, the only comment I really have is that I had that neon green, but if everybody else on the team is convinced, I could be convinced too. And I think the same architectural rigor in the back to that front facade. I was questioning at first the non-overhang. I feel like low country buildings have overhangs, but you know what? No, I like that it's a contemporary expression, and I'm cool with the contemporary expression. If it were just a steel building, you'd have to sell me that you're trying to make a contemporary expression, but it is a contemporary expression. I do think if they are metal panels though, pay attention to how close that overhang is to the wall. Water's going to come down, it's going to kick back. So if it's metal panel, make sure it's a durable metal panel. It's not going to rust and show its age or do something different at that water table. But otherwise, conceptual approval, absolutely.
I think too, I'm glad we're stopped on this image because I agree with everything Ben is saying. This image I agree is really nice. It took me a minute to figure it out because again, it didn't match the site plan. There's not the playground there and the pathways are in different locations and all. So obviously conceptual, we're cool with that, but I think that needs a little more study just to understand how people are gonna move through the site, if that playground's going there, what that's gonna look like. And to me, I don't know, Bill, or staff, if y'all disagree, but making any kind of recommendation on the fence, I need to understand what's going on in that area before I could say which type of fence would be better. Cause I feel like that just needs a lot more refinement and that's gonna be the most visible thing as you're coming to the site, that I'm hesitant to recommend anything from a fence perspective until we understand what's going on there.
So I feel like the rail fence is just a little mundane with everything else going on with the building and the site. So I would like to see them study some different approaches. Could be, I call them a hog wire fence. Could be that as long as it's like really heavy gauge steel, not something that's,
Yeah.
wimpy. Otherwise, I thought it was very well thought out.
I think that fence kind of reads more mountain or farm to me.
Well, it should read farm. Look at the
Okay.
project. It's clearly this agricultural motif, right? And I typically don't like the kind of lean-to roofs and everything, but in this project, it looks like a farm,
It does.
Yeah.
farmhouse that's been added to over time. And the architecture of it is the contemporary styling of it. So I'd say make the eaves and rakes as small as possible.
Yeah, he wants them to go away.
Really shrink that thing. And lean into the contemporary nature. I don't care about the neon or
I want some pink
entirely up to you guys. I do think there is a fairly awkward condition between that overhang and the bend in the hyphen. That might be worth studying. And I would not do the hyphen in white, but that's not going to be part of the motion or anything. That's not very agricultural if you're going to continue that motif, I guess. But nice project.
Any other comments? Motion for conceptual approval. Staff comments 1 and 2. Oh, wait. Yeah, 1 and 2 and 3. Did you add a third one, David?
It's up to you all.
I guess it goes with board comments.
Yeah.
Board comment to study the approach to the fence at Tecklenburg.
Well, not just the fence, but that whole.
In that whole area.
Yeah. But I don't know that needs to be a comment. I mean, I feel like that's required as part of preliminary anyway.
Okay. And that's fine.
So
Just doing the.
that
staff
motion
comment.
Conceptual
for
improvements, one.
conceptual approval with
Staff
staff
comment
comment
two.
1 and 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, call roll. Lucas,
Yes, in favor.
Adriana,
Yes.
Ashley,
Yes.
and Stephanie.
Yes.
And I'm also in favor. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Great. All right. Blackout.
You get
Uh,
an adult subscription?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
can we drive in?
Think about a condition of adult time.
The opening party.
I know this.
That would be a cool place to just hang out and watch your kids play golf.
Yeah.
Okay. Item number 7 on the agenda, 1647 King Street Extension requesting conceptual approval for a new 4-story storage building. Stuff.
If you, through context slides, you can see the red thumbtack location of this project on the Upper Peninsula. Closer view. This is at the old Tradesman Brewery site. I didn't realize it was going away.
More on that later.
And I just wanted to show this. This is across the expressway. In this area here is being planned and reviewed right now by all the city departments. This is the future Magnolia Landing. And this site where the storage building is going to be right across the highway from all this future development. It'll be right in this location here. Closer view of the site. This is the Tradesman Brewery location, and the storage buildings proposed for right here. So the railroad tracks are between King Street and the site, but it is still quite visible from King Street as well. DRB has purview of things that border both King Street and the expressway. Looking at the site, Tradesman Breweries over here on the right, and the storage facility will be right out here. There are some existing 1- and 2-story building, residential buildings right across the street as well, or on the same street. Just looking down at some of these residential buildings. And off to the right would be the storage building. Off to the right is this proposed storage building. Looking back, expressways here, and the storage building would sit right about here. I'll turn that over to the applicant. Step right up, please.
You need more than 10 minutes for your presentation. Great.
Preston Butterfield, Seymour Whiteside. Thank you all. We received staff comments, and you'll hear those in a second if you haven't already read through them. And obviously there were some discussion with some staff comments. We're aware, spoke internally, whether we were going to come here before you today and present, or whether we were going to defer and take some of that. We felt as a team for the project that it would be best for us to come in front of y'all and go through the project, get y'all's feedback, and gather all the comments and incorporate that into a submittal. If you could go to some of the existing site photos. And so Tradesman Brewing is closed down. It's been closed down for at least a year or so, I believe. Existing warehouse facility with large open asphalt. It's pretty degraded site at this moment. You can go to the next. Actually, sorry, one back, I apologize. And so there is an overpass right here. This is about a 30-foot embankment that tapers down at Ashapoo, about where it gets back to grade. That's an overpass right back to our site. And so you can kind of see how that relates to the existing site right there. And then fortunately or unfortunately, a large billboard that is going to remain on site. If you could go to sheet L101, it's the 9th PDF in ours. And so from a conceptual site plan standpoint, we've pushed the building back away from King Street and Ashapoo as much as possible. The existing billboard is in this top right corner. we have met, or excuse me, coordinated with Eric at planning, Rick with fire, and Ron at stormwater to get their initial thoughts and how we were gonna plan this site. And really, a lot of the site planning revolves around fire apparatus access, with it being storage and some of the stringent fire access requirements that Rick has. We are incorporating a bioretention basin on site that will be a dry basin. And that'll be supplemented by underground detention. The exact amount of underground versus dry storage hasn't been determined yet. Once we get further in design and get the stormwater doubts worked out, that'll be finalized. From a planting scheme, oaks, palmettos, and natural grasses, along with more of the natural feel of that bioretention area, trying to push the dumpster in towards the back, so somewhat hidden with that overpass that's up at the top, back towards the billboard. We have this second entrance that is primarily for fire apparatus access, but could be used for folks, taking out their furniture, their boxes to enter the building from a secondary access point. And with that said, I will turn it over to the architectural representative to discuss.
Hey everybody, I'm AJ, representing Arco Design Build.
Could you state your full name?
AJ Wertzberger.
Thanks.
You go to the next slide. So this is the building layout, if you will. I think we're more focused on the exterior of it, but you can kind of see how the hallways play into the overall function of the building and the way we laid out certain entrances in our office area. But go 2 more slides forward and we'll look at the elevations. Sorry. Yep. Yeah, perfect. So one thing that we're seeing in this area is obviously it's zoned industrial, so there's a lot of metal with brick accents, and we took some inspiration from some buildings in the surrounding area. So what we're trying to highlight here is sort of the industrial look, but also the up and coming look. As you mentioned before, like the Magnolia Landing area is being developed, so we want something that's very attractive. So our main office area here, it's showing brick. It's stepped out a little bit to give it more texture. And then what we're showing here, you can't really see it on what we're showing, but this is a display area. So you would be able to see the storage units. It's kind of advertising what the building actually is and how it functions. But these would be transparent. On the back side of the building, I'll show you where we reduce it a little bit. But the interesting part about this site is not only is it off of King Street, but it's also visible from I-26. So even though there's no direct access from I-26, it's visible. So we want to dress up both sides of the building. The 2 sides of the building get far less visibility, but you can see here we've got some drive-up access. And we keep the metal panel with EIFS accents on the top. Go to the next slide. So this would be the view as you can see it from I-26, and we've got renderings that'll pull up your views from I-26 that I can show you. But keeping the same theme alive, we still have the brick accents every so often, trying to break up the boxiness of the overall building, bring more appeal to it. And then over here, the same sort of display areas happening, but we blanked off the sides with different colored brick to keep interest, but reduce the overall visibility into the building. Because these display areas are simply that, they're just displayed to show what the building is. It's not so much for direct light access, if you will. You can go to the next slide. So this is a rendering as you would see pulling up to the facility. I don't really have a whole lot to describe other than, metal panel with the brick accents and then EIFS at the top again. Go to the next slide. This would be the view from if you were standing almost underneath I-26. Because from this vantage point, I-26 goes up, as he mentioned before, pretty significantly. You would really only be able to see the top portion of the building as you're coming around the bend there. But still dressing up the facility to sort of match what we're showing on the front side at King Street. I believe that is it. Oh, that's the front view imposed over what you can see now from Google Maps.
Thank you. Board questions for the applicant.
Just a quick question that I have. From the, I guess would that be the north elevation that is fronting the residential area?
Mhm.
What was that kind of visually, what do they see?
So you can go back.
Was it just specifically not that side, but that?
South
that
elevation.
Yes, so they're gonna see, oh, I'm sorry, go back,
Oh, sorry.
forward one. So there's a loading entrance that Preston called out. You have some drive up units that are accessible from the ground floor. And see this canopy and then dressed up this side to continue the brick access.
Was there any screening? I can tell, landscape screening
There's
or?
landscaping, but it's not specifically screening.
Other board questions for the applicants? No more questions? Okay. Anyone from the public here to speak on this project? Okay. We will move to city staff
Take
recommendations.
some staff observations. The applicants had no meeting with city DRB staff prior to their conceptual submittal. But they had, we told them that we could not support this building design and that it needs work for us to support it. They also have not had initial meetings with TRC. The height and scale mass of the large building is imposing for this area as a 4-story building, as it's directly next door to some 1-story single-family homes. Although this area of Upper Peninsula has been industrial, the area is growing and changing, and DRB will be pushing for more innovative architecture to help the growing area improve and be more desirable. It's directly across the highway from the site of the future Magnolia Landing development, which will include residential, office, retail, or restaurants. It's located off of King Street Extension and directly next to I-26, which means that both sides of the building need to be very attractive and not warehouse looking. The brick features on the building look to be applied afterthought. They are attempting to break up the massing, but it's not quite working. Traffic and safety will need to improve the additional curb cut into the site. Staff comment number 1. For most previous storage buildings that DRB has seen, our directive has been to move some of the interior hallways to be just inside the facade so that some windows may be present in key locations of the 2 main facades. The windows that are shown are in the display area and serve no function of allowing in light into the building, and more fenestration would be needed to make this building more attractive. Staff recommends a stronger base, middle, and top to the building. And staff comment number 3, a brick-based water table all the way around the building is typically preferred. But unfortunately, staff does recommend denial.
Would the applicant like to respond or clarify anything from staff's comments?
Yes, can we go specifically address the fenestration question? So there's a couple of options that we have, and I just kind of wanted to talk through the overall function of the building. So by not having glass, there's a couple of advantages. Obviously, there's some disadvantages from your guys' perspective, but the advantage would be the more glass you show and the more you can see into the building. Obviously, you're defeating one of the big positives of a multi-story self-storage building, and that's that you're not constantly seeing people's storage stuff all in and out. The second thing, the more light that's let into the building, I don't know if you guys have seen, like if you're in the antique world or have seen like a dining table that sits in front of a window too long, it starts to fade over time. So typically in these facilities, we're not trying to add additional light to them, just simply out of function. There is an option if we change the hallway slightly where you could add more light to the building. But unfortunately, that changes the whole function of the building and by adding a whole hallway strip around it or a long hallway, you're reducing the amount of usable square footage in the facility. So if we were to add windows specifically for the purpose of letting in light, it may be at the end of a hallway. So you're not getting a big mass of windows, but you may be getting, one that's 5 foot wide. So I don't know if that really would achieve what we're looking for. So all that to be said, there's a couple options. We could add faux glass if the intent is simply just to see more glass. Obviously, it's not transparent, but it solves one of the issues depending on what the intent of that comment is.
Thank you. We can move into board discussion now.
I think the big thing is, at least to me, is really lacking architectural direction. There's a lot of different things going on. But I agree with what staff's saying. And what you're saying, what you were saying about the glass, I would suggest you look at a building that's probably not even half a mile down the road.
Main Street?
It's what's it called? I wrote it down.
I know.
On Harriet?
I think it's called, I wrote it down somewhere. Is it used Go Store It?
On Walnut.
Google Go Store
Walnut
It.
Street, yeah.
It's on
It's a
Walnut.
storage building and it's fantastic. And it's half a mile down the road.
It's on Walnut Street.
Walnut Street?
Walnut, yeah.
And I'm not saying you have to go to that detail. It's an elaborate brick detailed with glass. It looks like an industrial building that's been there for a long time. But I'm sure it costs a lot of money. But I think that some of the things that it did, though, it breaks up the facade. It's got a clear direction as to what it's trying to do. It's not just a collision of different ideas and forms and things that are going on your facades. It responds well to the site. I think that's something you need to consider. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree that you have to have a base, middle, and top. I don't a brick base water table. I just think you need a clear architectural direction that's well thought out, and it clearly shows that the building is the height scale mass works. Because right now it really just looks like that a box that's been extruded 4 stories or 5 stories. I do think you don't have to do a complete. Sorry, Leaks. I don't know if it's a complete. You got to pull the storage units back from the exterior the whole way and have dots of windows everywhere. That's getting your architect involved to help you figure out how this can be a clear, architectural expression of the windows, the glazing to solid void, that kind of thing. But I don't think just having a storefront with 3 or 4 feet behind it, that's a display, not letting light in. That's a faux window, even though it's a real glazed opening. So yeah, I would agree with staff for denial.
Before that, can I ask you a follow-up question?
Well, right now, we're in board discussion.
I think it's
Hold on.
important. Well,
Lucas.
one, go ahead. Sorry.
It hasn't been to the TRC.
No.
Hasn't engaged that way.
I thought they just said they went to Eric and
David said he didn't, there was a question as to whether or not they would need to go to TRC, which is why it's here.
And Eric responded and said that it would not.
Okay.
We got an email today.
Yeah,
did not go to TRC. It's bigger than,
Because no tree removal, no setbacks is the explanation that we got.
but
from
it's a
Eric.
new building. It's got to go to TRC.
I don't.
I don't see how it can't
We're
not
not
go to TRC just
It
because
would
of
have to go to
stormwater.
TRC.
We're
Okay,
not
well,
the-
TRC said it doesn't have
I
to.
know. We got an email today from
Yeah.
RC saying it doesn't have to, so
It
that's
doesn't have to.
not for us to debate.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Did you have something else?
Yeah, just one, I mean, just the location on, you know, being on King Street and being on 26. It's got to be a good building. And right now, it's not a good building. And I think it's safe to say we're not going to accept faux glass as part of a building. And I think it's also important to recognize what David was saying about that windows would be on a hallway, a corridor on the outside. So you're not going to have to worry about grandma's antique dining room table fading from being exposed to sunlight. Those things are still gonna be in a storage unit with no windows. The windows are along the corridor. Also agree, I mean, right now, I mean, the brick accents and everything it's just applied. It needs to be more integral. Yep.
So David, can you go to rendering 1-23? So I live less than a mile from here. We need more storage, so support the use completely. I have a unit walking distance from here. I'm not a design professional, so take that with a grain of salt. Everything that comes next. Personally, I feel like trying to force windows where the use doesn't call for it is, to me, sort of like how we say don't use decorative elements just for the sake of them being decorative. But I think that means you have to be extra thoughtful about the presentation of the building so that it makes sense in design and in utility. Because even though I think when I look at the flat rendering, the facadal treatments are probably a little bit more effective than when I see them in the 3D, because this just still looks like a big 4-story mass, which isn't going to work, especially when you have this adjacent, 2-story residential that is likely not going anywhere anytime soon. And so you have to integrate with that more. And just because you can go to 4 stories doesn't mean that you're going to always get 4 stories. And so if you're going to try to get that much massing, I think you need to be very creative and thoughtful about that approach. Because personally, I think it makes a lot of sense and we should try, especially since on the other side of this building is a highway where, this is going to look tiny in comparison, but then you have to be thoughtful about all sides because of where the site is located. We see a lot of the new development that's up this corridor and Meeting Street Road in that 3-story range. So if you're going to go for 4, again, coming back to being really thoughtful, maybe that means you have to do some step backs. In my mind, I'm thinking like maybe you could make it look more like some of the multifamily buildings where they've had like porches and things like that at the upper corners to kind of get that step back approach. Again, not the design professional, but like these are the things that I'm thinking of as a layperson driving by a building like this that might help you to integrate this much building with the existing surroundings.
I think that was well put. I would encourage us, I know we've had these conversations before, but a lack of windows is not the cure-all for something like this. It's not just a matter of introducing windows where we can. It's a cohesive architectural vision that's lacking. This is a complex site. It's a 4-sided, there's not a real, there's a back to the building. Yeah. There's not a real back. So there's a lot to respond to. And then this residential street, that's a tough site. And by introducing 4-story self-storage, it's not impossible by any stretch of the imagination, but it makes it even harder because that's not a very flexible building type. So architectural rigor is more important here than anywhere, I would say. But yeah, there's many ways to accomplish and develop a cohesive architectural vision. Don't get hung up on windows or brick appliques or cornices. But yeah.
I think this is a part of town where you can be super creative, and we've seen
Yeah.
some different designs elsewhere for storage that are really wild. And I think that this site would work with that level of creativity.
Absolutely. I mean, the building that was there, the trading brewery was the shipping containers stacked on each other.
Yeah. David, can you go back to the rendered site plan? So assuming that they do get to do a 4-story building, that's a big mass. And right now on the site plan, I mean, the trees along 526 are all grouped over by the parking area. I think having some canopy trees along kind of the edge of the property line, so to use the trees to kind of soften the effect of the building from 26 might not be a bad thing. And I don't know how to get around it, but I also kind of hate the idea of having parking between the building and King Street. But I don't, with the function of this building, I'm not sure how to, and with the fire access needs and everything else, I'm not sure how to get around that.
John, I know you were in the restroom when the question came up about TRC. I don't know if we wanted David to clarify. So I know you heard from Eric today.
I did speak with Eric and he said that, well, he made the comment, I don't know if TRC is even needed. But then we were pointing out, I'm not sure about the stormwater, seems like it would be. But he said there's no trees to deal with. There's no setbacks. What else did he say? I think that was it. So, but he just said, I have no problem with it going forward with DRB.
How big is the site, the parcel?
You know, the acreage. 2.5.
So it should
Yeah.
go through stormwater for sure.
Yeah.
Sounds like he was just saying he didn't need
Or
to see it
he-
before it came to
No,
DRB.
no variances pending or anything like that.
The facade facing the houses and the facade, ironically facing the house, the one facing I-26 is one of the most, I know it's down, but it's like a billboard for the street.
It's very visible.
Very
It's gotta be
visible,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the one facing the house, I'm like, tricky.
Like I said, that Go Store It is a building very similar to this, less than half a mile away. Same face looking at the crosstown when it comes through. I don't think you have to be so super traditional like that one. I totally agree. But yeah, that could be a sweet looking building. There's no context really other than the height, scale and mass of the residential buildings next to it, right? So
I-26.
but you gotta respect those residential buildings there. I mean, having a 4-story shear wall right next to the 2-story residential houses that's a deal breaker.
Yeah, King Street extension is almost.
Yeah, you could do. I almost wish you could push it further away from the residential if you could, if possible. But anyway, I would like to make a motion for a denial based on architectural direction.
Motion for denial based on architectural direction. Is there a second?
Second.
Stephanie second. All right, Lucas?
I just had one more point before we go. I'm torn with Bill on the parking because living close by to these facilities, I love not having to look at all of the trucks and cars unloading all their junk in the street. So I kind of like it being tucked between the building and 26. So for what that's worth.
You like what?
Parking
She
being
like
on
the
the
built the
backside.
parking on the back. 26 side,
Like the building access is coming in on
if you
the
could.
rear.
Because you'll see the building, it'll be large enough, but you don't really see the ground level parking. And that would help the building address like King Street extension and everything else better too, I think.
Good point.
I suppose that's food for thought though, right?
It is.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
That's
we're,
right.
with the denial, we're not,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I have more for a second, but I don't know from an architect standpoint, can the building be turned? So then the front part of the building is facing the residential area and is designed more to blend in with the residential area, then you put the parking in the back. Yeah.
I'm sure
It's
there's.
up to the architect.
Yeah.
They've got to come back with a different. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they can probably decide and figure that out, but it may be.
And big buildings can be cool.
Absolutely,
Big
yeah.
buildings get a bad rap. It's too big. We need to break it down. Usually it is
Make it the
appropriate,
Walmart
but.
feel.
Well.
Yeah.
Walmart.
Definitely don't want that.
Big box, the big box idea, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Are we still in vote?
We
Yes,
are
we have a
further
motion and a
discussion.
second.
Yes, we have a motion and a second, but we haven't voted yet. So any further discussion from any board members? Okay, now we can vote. Lucas,
Those in favor?
Adriana, Ashley. Bill,
Yes.
I'm also in favor. So. Thank you.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Yes.
September 2nd meeting.
We have a motion for approval of the minutes from September 2nd. Is there a second? All right, Bill seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, call roll, Ben.
That was fast. Yes, in favor.